Let's have a look at the retail sales. They took a steep dive in December as shoppers cut back on household goods, clothes and footwear. This is even in the run-up to Christmas. It shows how much the cost of living crisis was biting. Warren, this is said to be the steepest decline since the pandemic.
Yeah, we've got to be careful because of the shift in consumer spending towards the Black Friday, Cyber Monday. The Australian Bureau of Statistics, which adjusts for different seasons and different events each month, is struggling to deal with that. So we had a big jump in November, which was revised down. Then we've got this fall now. Then what's going to happen in January? So we've got to look through this. So just a word of warning on the data there. But this is to be expected. Rates have gone up a lot. Consumer spending was relatively strong in the pandemic, and the consumer is bearing the brunt of not just higher rates, higher income tax burden, and obviously the cost of living. So I actually think this is going to get worse before it gets better, and there shouldn't be any surprises here. It's not collapsing at 2.7% a month. That was just the monthly figure, but it is. We are in a declining trend for spending, and that's going to put pressure on many retailers.
Yeah, and look, the point is that the high immigration, the 500,000 people a year, is definitely holding up the economy, whereas a lot of economists point out, and I'll come back to you on this, Warren, but Kyle, a lot of economists point out that we are in a per capita recession, and that's why it feels so tough for people. That's reflected in the retail figures.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that there's a cost of living crunch on for quite a lot of Australia. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I guess it's what, and what the impact of that is on businesses, on retailers. I mean, I don't think this is directly correlated, but obviously you saw Godfrey's, fall into a hole. There's going to be company reporting season coming up starting next week. So I think we will have an opportunity now to see what spending and consumer sentiment is doing for businesses and for their profits.
Inflation data meant to be out tomorrow. Both of you, economic experts, any
Please
predictions on what we're going to see?
Look, the group of economists out there are usually pretty good, so I think we're going to see a moderate increase. It's still high, at 0.8% in the quarter, but the annual rate will come down to around 4.25%, 4.5%. So it's all going to move in the right direction, but it's the devil is in the detail. And we've got to look at the domestic services inflation. None of that was in the monthly, not a lot of it's in the monthly indicator, which we had for October and November. So we will get more insight into the trajectory of domestic inflation. And that, of course, is what the RBA is looking at. It isn't coming down anywhere near as quickly as the overall inflation. And of course, I don't think this inflation battle is won just yet. We may not need more rate hikes, but I think tomorrow will be a bit of a wake-up call that rate cuts are a long way off.
Quickly, what's your view on why our inflation levels are falling more slowly than other places in the world, the US, UK?
Yeah, well, we're lagging those countries, so that's just a matter of timing. But also, our industrial relations system is rigid, and it was slow for wages to start picking up. They've only just started to, and every business I talk to says it's wage and non-wage, i.e. industrial relations related costs that are really keeping on pushing up. So what worries me is that business costs are not abating, and that's going to make it hard for inflation to fall significantly or to the extent the RBA wants over the course of this year.